another spin. Not the month, not the month. He's picked, he's picked. We're only on prompt number 4, so prompt number 5, I'm getting too chaotic, we need to spin. But this has just been brutal. Hi guys, it's Rachel and welcome back to my favourite video to film every single month, my February TBR. I'm so excited to film February's TBR. If you've been following my vlogs and my videos throughout January, you know that my reading year has gone off to a very, very good start, and I'm hoping that trajectory can continue into February. I have a few videos planned out in February, a couple of themed reading vlogs. Obviously, it's the month of love, it's the month of Valentine's Day, so I really want to get a weekly reading vlog out to you guys, reading only romances for a week, which shouldn't be too hard for me, seeing as I am predominantly a romance reader, but I still just want to like concentrate a week on just reading cute, fluffy romances, so hopefully we can get some romances on this TBR. And then another reading vlog I have in mind is to be a mood reader for a week. I am very much a stickler of a TBR person. I know obviously there's like the difference in the book community. Either you're a TBR structured person or you're more of a mood reader. For me, I'm very much a TBR person. I create a TBR. I tend to 99.9% of the time stick to it. I plan out exactly when I'm going to be reading the books, how many days I'm going to be reading the books for, and I stick to it. Unless I feel like I'm in a slump, I stick to those exact books, and I don't really take my mood into account in terms of reading. So I thought it'd be really fun to trial for a week being a mood reader. Therefore, the books I want to read in that vlog, I feel like shouldn't come off a TBR. So there'll be extra books in February's reading plans that aren't being picked out in today's video, so I can do that reading vlog of being a mood reader. Hopefully that all makes sense. So those are all kind of like the house admin things I wanted to discuss before getting into my TBR. If you're new around here, I pick my TBR via the classic TBR jar, but with a twist. I use a spinner wheel to dictate what I do with that prompt, and you'll kind of follow along as we get into it. So without further ado, I start off with 5 prompts. If the wheel tells me to add more, etc., then I will do, but I start with 5 pulls and go from there. So without further ado, let's hop into the first spin slash pull of the prompts. The first prompt is going to be, or I shouldn't say prompt, I should say spinner wheel dictator of prompt will be, add another spin. Okay, fine, I'll add another spin. That's 6 already. And like I said, it's a shorter month as well, February, so I still have a lot of books I want to read this month. Hopefully we can get a lot of good ones on. We'll go for this prompt. I'm scared, I'm scared. And it is, ooh, a book stolen off someone else's monthly TBR. Okay, I have watched a few February TBRs this morning, so I have a few fresh ideas in my mind, and there are 2 potential options. I'll leave the channel names down below of the TBR videos I'm about to talk about, but I cannot for the life of me remember who spoke about Invisible Woman, which is a non-fiction book, and I have Audible at the minute. I brought Invisible Woman as an audiobook on Audible, so I could listen to that this month, which will be stolen off of, if I go to my YouTube history, Jessie Reed's February TBR for this month. Or the one I'm kind of leaning towards is stealing a book off of Florence Harvey's monthly TBR, which she posted last night and I watched this morning, and she put on reading it for the first time, The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston, and I want to reread The 7 Year Slip this year, and I'm trying to reread a book a month. I didn't end up rereading any books in January, so I'm already behind in that kind of like 12 and 12 goal. So I think I might put The 7 Year Slip onto my February TBR. Plus it's a romance, so I could potentially read it in the romance reading weekly vlog that I have planned. So where is it? What colour spine does it have? I'm going to put The 7 Year Slip on to my February TBR. I absolutely adored this book when I read it for the first time 2 years ago now, and it is a magical realism time travelling romance where you follow our main character Clementine, who inherits her auntie's apartment once she passes away. What she doesn't know about her auntie's apartment is that it's magical. So one day when she returns home from work and there's a guy living in her apartment, she gets very confused, but this man is from 7 years ago, and they start having a romance in the flat where they both kind of live but 7 years apart, and absolutely adored it. Adored it. It was so good. So I'm really excited to reread it, tab it up and make it part of my forever collection. Thank you Florence Harvey for putting that on your TBR for February. I'm very grateful. Hopping in to spin number 2 out of 6. Because I feel like last month I got really confused with the amount of numbers I was spinning and pulling, and I think I actually miscalculated. So this time we're actually going to try and do 6. Pick 2, choose 1. Okay, this one I pick 2 prompts out, but I only choose 1 to complete. So if I get a prompt I really don't like, hopefully the second prompt is a little bit nicer. So we'll go for these 2. And the first one is read a book from an author you haven't read from before. Okay, could definitely work. Oh, I have some good options for that one. Or I can pick the prompt of a book that's longer than your last read. Okay, my last read finished was Beg, Borrow and Steal, which I think was about 330 pages. 360. So either or kind of really just give me free reign of what I want to pick. What was the other prompt? I've forgotten already. So longer than my last read, or author I haven't read from before. Ooh, okay. I think both could work. I'm just going to go look on the books that are currently piquing my interest, because on my Notion page I have a section of books that are currently piquing my interest in terms of like, oh, I really want to read that but I don't have time to read it in January, so I put it on this list in the hopes I can get around to it in the next month. So on my current like top of radar, I have The Wedding People, All My Rage, Blue Sisters, How to End a Love Story, and Bookshops and Bone Dust. Unfortunately, Blue Sisters and Bookshops and Bone Dust will be eliminated with the authors I've read from before. But any other ones I could potentially read with that prompt. So I think I might go for an author I haven't read from before and put longer than my last read back in my TBR jar. So we're going to go for author I haven't read from before. Seeing as there is already a reread, it might be nice to read and discover a brand new writing style, etc. So an author I haven't read from before. I'm so tempted to read The Wedding People, but I don't own it at all. I don't have it on my Kindle, I don't own it physically. Whereas I do have All My Rage, Blue Sisters, and How to End a Love Story all on my Kindle. And I think because it's romance month, I've heard incredible things on How to End a Love Story. Can't remember the author, I'm just going to grab it up on my Kindle now. By Yuen Kwang, I want to say. I think I'm probably butchering that author's name, but I've heard incredible things about it. I don't even know what it's about. Should we have a look? Shall we have a read of the synopsis together? 2 writers with a complicated history end up working on the same TV show. Can they write themselves a new beginning? Helen hasn't seen Grant Shepherd once in their 13 years since the tragic accident that bound their lives together forever. Now best-selling author, Helen pours everything into her career. She's even scored a coveted spot in the writer's room of a TV adaptation of her popular young adult novels. And if she can hide her imposter syndrome and overcome her writer's block, surely the rest of her life will fall into place too. LA is the fresh start she needs. After all, no one knows she's there. Except, Grant has done everything in his power to move on from the past, including a life across the country. And while the panic attacks have never quite gone away, he's well liked around town as a screenwriter. He knows he shouldn't have taken a job on Helen's show, but it will open doors in developing his own projects that he can't just pass up. Grant exactly as Helen remembers him, charming, funny, popular, and lovable in ways that she's never been. And Helen exactly as Grant remembers too. But working together is messy and electrifying, and Helen's parents, who have never forgiven Grant, has no idea he's in the picture at all. When secrets come to light, they must reckon with the fact that theirs was never meant to be any kind of love story, and yet the key to making peace with their past and themselves might just lie in holding on to each other in the present. Okay, that sounds so good. I was a little bit skeptical when it said enemies to lovers, because I'm not a massive enemies to lovers fan when it comes to that trope in romances. I much prefer it in like a fantasy setting, but I'm very much intrigued, and that'll be the second book adding to my February TBR. Plus it's a romance, so far 2 for 2, doing very well. Right, spin number 3 is going to be add another spin. Not the month. That is a total of 7 spins now. I'm not going to be doing that mood reading vlog, I don't think. But we'll just see how we go. Add another spin. So a standard pull prompt, but we're now picking 7 books. Great. I know I read a lot in January, but I could be burning myself out by reading the amount I've read in January. So February could be a bit of a flop for me. But let's just see what this prompt is, and we'll just take it baby steps. Baby steps, I just don't know how I can get you down low. What does this say? Now they're all typed out, I can't actually read them. Let a random colour generator choose your book. Perfect. I love this prompt. I love this prompt. Okay, let's get a random colour generator up. Random colour generator up. Do I go for a screen one where the screen just turns a colour, or do I go for a spinner wheel? Let's go for spinner wheel. So the colour of the cover is going to be, or need to be, should I say, dark blue. Okay, that could work. That could massively work. So the main colour predominantly needs to be dark blue. Okay. I think I know exactly what book I'm going to be picking for that one. So just to switch out the genres ever so slightly and give myself a shorter book, because Legends and Lattes was fairly short, I believe, I'm going to be picking Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is the prequel to Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I don't own it physically. Once again, it is on my Kindle, but that's absolutely fine. I think it'll be a nice kind of like change of pace to have like a short, cozy fantasy within the mix, and definitely a book that I wanted to get to by the end of 2024, but just didn't manage to get around to it because I hit a slump at the very end of December. So that is the next book on my TBR. I don't actually know what it's about. I just know that I gave Legends and Lattes 5 stars and knew that I wanted to read the origin story of Viv, which is our main character. So I'm really excited to go into this one, and hopefully it'll be a kind of nice little like respite between all the romances I want to read in February. So we're going into spin number 4. Please just be a normal one. I'm scared now of getting the colour purple. Oh, double up prompts. Okay, so I have to pull 2 prompts, combine them, and find a book that fits both of them in. So this TBR is just like, I want to throw all the challenges at you. Okay, pick another 2 prompts out and got to combine them. Okay, here's 2. I just kind of like picked 2 of them in my fingers. So we have an author's debut. Okay, so far not too bad. And let Mark pick a book from a TBR trolley. Okay, I'm going to pick a few authors' debuts out and get Mark to pick one. I'll send him a picture because he's currently at work in the office, and I'm obviously working from home. I'm filming this on my lunch break. So I need to figure out what are authors' debuts and then send a picture to Mark and let him pick, and then whatever he picks, I'll put up on screen. So let me do that now. I need to figure out what are some authors' debuts. I'm just going to pick books that potentially I might want to read this month. What about Beautiful Ruins by... Okay, this is an author's debut, so this is going to go... I think I'm going to give him 4 to pick between. So 1. Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkinson is also a debut, so I'm going to give him this one. 2 quite like more heavy literary kind of fiction books there, so maybe we can try and pick a easier one. I wonder if Cat Lady by Dawn Porter is her debut. I don't think so. A book on my 2025 TBR is Celeste Ng's debut novel. I didn't know if it was going to be Little Fires Everywhere or this one, but it's this one, so this one is going to be added to the Mark Picks category. And then maybe, because none of them are like romances, but I'm not sure if I have any debut romances on here. I wonder what Lynn Painter's debut novel is. It's better than the movies. Okay, I don't have that one. I have Betting on You. I think Sarah Adams' debut is The Cheat Sheet. No, okay. The Cheat Sheet isn't her debut book. What will be a debut book? Okay, potentially, if it is, this book is on my January TBR. If I don't get around to it, because I don't think I am going to be able to get around to it, Written in the Stars is Alexandra Belfer's debut novel. So I'm going to give Mark these 4 books. So Written in the Stars, Everything I Never Told You, Black Cake, and Beautiful Ruins. And I'm going to take a picture of all 4 of them and see which one he picks. Hopefully, hopefully a good one. Okay, sending him that. Can you pick a book for me? Those are the 4 books Mark needs to pick between, and hopefully hurry up in answering. He has read the message, so hopefully we'll get a reply in the next couple minutes. So finally, oh, he's picked. He's picked. Okay, thank you. Drum roll, please. He has picked another 2025 TBR participant. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I'm really intrigued to get to this one. Once again, it's more of a heavy topic book, but I'm really excited to get to it. So hopefully I'm going to really enjoy this one. This one basically follows our main character Lydia and her family, and then Lydia ends up dead, and it's in the 1970s. So I'm just really intrigued. It's kind of like a murder mystery, literary fiction. I've never read Celeste Ng before, and I know she's absolutely loved as an author, so I'm really excited to get to this one. We're only on prompt number 4, so prompt number 5. No, we need to spin. Oh my god, I'm getting chaotic. I'm getting too chaotic. We need to spin. Spin number 5. We got there in the end. Spin number 5 is going to be, drum roll. Not again. Another doubled up on prompts. Ah! Fuck's sake. Also, this means that I'm going to be going through our prompts so quickly, and this year in 2025 I said I wasn't putting the prompts back, but if we do get to a point where I have like run out of prompts, I will either create new ones or put them all back in. But we'll go for, that's 1, 2. Hopefully these ones can be as easily doubled up as the previous 2. So we have, let your bookish bestie choose. Oh my god, I'm losing all control here. And read a book that's a first in a series. Okay. That is fine, because there were some series I wanted to start in 2025, so I could just give Emily and Chloe, because I have a group chat with them, a selection of books that I want to see, that I want to read at a starting of a series. So I'm going to message them. Oh my god. Help me. Help. My TBR gods have asked me to get my bookish besties to pick a book for my Feb TBR, but it has to be starting a new series. Here, I'm going to give them options again. Here are your options, because I don't want no control. I'm going to give them The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, because I know that's on my 2025 TBR. I'm going to give them I don't own this one, Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. And what's the other series I wanted to start? Unless I do a reread. Because I really want to reread Beartown, which is part of the series, and I also really want to read Six of Crows. So unless I just throw in unless I do give them both of them, so I'm actually going to give them a reread of Six of Crows, or a reread of Beartown, and see whoever comes back first gets to pick. Okay. I sent that text off to my bookish besties, Emily and Chloe, so let's see what they come back with. But once again, it's a book that I might have to just pop up on screen and see what they come back with. This is a hefty TBR, but that was spin number 5. Both of them might come back a little bit later. I know I messaged Mark at the right time because it was his lunch break. I don't know what Emily and Chloe's working schedule is currently. It's 1 o'clock, so they could be on a lunch break. But let's spin for spin number 6, which should have been the last spin. But it's not, because we've got another adder spin, so we're doing 7 in total, unless it wants to be really brutal to me and add another spin. I really don't think I'm going to be getting my mood reading vlog done this month, because now I have to do 8, so maybe I'll just have to push that to March. It was always ambitious doing 2 themed reading vlogs in February anyway, when it only has 28 days, but this has just been brutal. This spinner wheel has never been so brutal to me. So this prompt is, read a book that's on your Instagram feed. Oh my god. 1 is being brutal because I just keep getting ad spins, and 2, I really have no control. Although I have got 2. Oh, Emily got back to me first. And she's picked The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams. Thank you, Emily. So The Cheat Sheet is being added to my TBR, and it's actually an audiobook on Everand. We were looking for Instagram. So we need to go to my Instagram. I will record my screen. Oh no, what a shame. Beg, Borrow and Steal. Unfortunately, I've literally just finished reading it. I could reread The Dead Romantics also, but last year in June I put both of them on my reread and I didn't read either of them, so I think maybe one reread a month might just be enough. I didn't say it was going to be the first book I see, I just have to scroll on Instagram and see. One Never Beg, Borrow and Steal. Out of the Woods, hopefully I'm going to be reading in January. Out of the Woods. I'm not reading Throne of Glass, absolutely not. Ooh, there's a whole list here. Stop. The reading list. Is the reading list... Ooh. Oh, okay. On this stack, thank you very much to Cozy Coffee Reads, is Bright Young Woman by Jessica Knoll, which is a book, so that's a book I'm going to pick, I've decided, if you couldn't tell. So this book is a different stance on the typical serial killer stories that you always see and watch and documentaries and stuff, because those documentaries focus on romanticizing the actual serial killer, being like, he's so charming, like why wouldn't have people kind of like, no one would ever expected them because they were just so charming and funny and likable. And this is putting a highlight on the actual victims, the women who have been killed and kind of targeted and preyed upon in those serial killer situations, and I'm really intrigued to read it. Apparently, I believe, I want to say it's a fictionalized version of Ted Bundy, but I don't actually know, and I think obviously by reading it I'll find out exactly what this book is about, but I'm really intrigued to read it. I found out about this book from Gabby Reads and she absolutely adored it, so really excited to read this one. Thank you, Instagram. I've had a lot of other people choosing my TBR. We've had someone else's TBR game, we've had Mark Picks, Bookish Besties and Instagram, and we're not even done yet. We're on to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're on to spin number 7. Unfortunately, it's still not the last spin. I might just have to do a generic weekly reading vlog of trying to like get through my February TBR at this point. Pick 2, choose 1. I haven't got a single standard prompt today, so once again, picking 2 and choosing 1. Here are 2. Here goes. Ooh. At least we have a little bit of choice with the pick 2, choose 1. A book that's popular in the book community. Definitely an option. That did focus for a short while, just have to trust me. And then, is that upside down? I think that might be upside down. Read anticipated release. You know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to read an anticipated release because guess what's out in February that I completely forgot about? There's actually 2 books out in February that I'm really excited about. I'm not sure if there's any more, but off the top of my head, we have Hope Street by Mike Gale and we have The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. And I think, you know what? After all this chaos, I think I need to have a book that I know that I'm going to binge and absolutely love. So I'm going to put The Charlie Method on as an anticipated release. Thank God that prompt came up. I'm going to read The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. I'm so excited. It's the 3rd book in the Campus Diaries series, so I'm very excited to read it. I read The Dixon Rule in January and fell in love with it, and this is obviously the next book in that spin-off series. This one follows, why can I forget their names? It follows Charlie, who's our new character, and then it follows 2 of the male characters in the universe that we already know, but I've forgotten their names. They're blank. Their names are blanking me, but I'll put them up on screen. And if you weren't aware, obviously Elle Kennedy's massive in smut. She does a lot of good smutty books, in my personal opinion. And this one I think is going to be the furthest that she's ever gone, because it basically follows Charlie trying to pick between the 2 guys that are going to be the focus in the Charlie Method, and I believe there's a lot of threesomes going on. So if you like smut, but not like too much, I feel like Elle Kennedy's slowly going into like the real off-track, off-territory sort of like smut now. So just be warned if you are interested in reading the series. It definitely goes a lot more into smut and erotica than all her other books, in my kind of like personal opinion, and also kind of what I'm getting from with the synopsis of The Charlie Method. So that is book number 7. Hopefully this is the last and final spin, but you never know, because today has been absolutely chaotic. We could get another add a spin, and I'm really hoping we don't. Please just be the last one. Please be the last one. It's a purple one, but I think it's a standard. We end on a standard. Thank God for that. Okay. What's the last prompt going to be? You know what? It's been a bit chaotic, but I have high hopes for this TBR. It's very diverse. It's very different. I'm really, really excited. So, because my TBR is about to... my camera is about to die. Let's do this one really quickly. It reads, I can't read that, it says, Read a book that is the same colour as your last read. Pink. Okay, we have to read a pink book because my last read, as we've already discussed in this video, is Beg, Borrow and Steal by Sarah Adams. So we need to go for another pink book. We could go for Death of a Bookseller, which is a pink book, which could add a thriller in there, which would be quite nice change. I don't know if this counts. I don't know if this is pink enough. Raiders of the Lost Heart. I don't think Cat Lady's pink enough either. You know what book would have worked really well is How to End a Love Story, but we don't have that one. That's already on my TBR. I don't think I've got any pink books on my Kindle either. Although I think Read Between the Lines is pink, which is a Rachel Lacey book, which I've been intrigued by, and I think that's LGBTQ as well. Because Love Theoretically is orange. I want to appreciate my past self for charging another battery, because otherwise I would be a bit screwed right now, but I just have to change batteries, so if the angle's changed, that is why. But what I was saying was Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey is I want to say the most similar pink cover to Beg, Borrow and Steal, so I'll put the two covers up on screen and you can kind of see the similarity. But I'm going to pick this one. It is another start of a series, but it is a romance. It basically follows a Manhattan bookstore owner and a reclusive author who loves to hate and hate to love each other. Books are Rosie Taft's life, and ever since she's taken over her mother's beloved Manhattan bookstore, they've become her home too. The only thing missing in her own real life is romance, like the one she's read all about. And Rosie has an idea of who she might like to sweep her off her feet. She struck up a flirty online friendship with lesbian romance author Bree, and what could be more romantic than falling in love with her favourite author? This sounds really good. Jane works hard to keep her professional and personal lives neatly separate. By day, she works for a family property development business. By night, she puts her steamy side on paper under her pen name, Bree. Jane hasn't had much luck on her own love life, but on her online collection with a loyal reader makes Jane wonder if she could be the one. When Rosie learns that her bookstore lease has been terminated by Jane's family business, romance moves to the back burner. Even though there are odds, there's no denying the spark that flies every time they're together. When their online identities are revealed, will Jane be able to write her way to a happy ending? Or is Rosie's heart a closed book? Okay, that sounds really, really good. I'm going to read that one. Hopefully it's cute and just fluffy and just nice to read about, but it sounds really, really good. I'm loving like the romance books at the minute, kind of surrounded by authors and bookstores and stuff. So that is finally the last book on my February TBR. Boy, oh boy, was that a long mission. So quickly, because I think I need a recap, let alone you. There are so many prompters lying around everywhere. Okay. The first book on my February TBR is to steal a book off someone else's TBR. So I stole The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, which is going to be a reread for me. And then we got to read a book from an author I've never read from before. So we got How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kyun. I want to say it's how I pronounce the name, but I'm probably butchering it. And then we got a random colour. Choose My Book, which I put Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry, which is blue, which is also on my Kindle. And then we got Mark pick, so Mark had to pick a book that was also a debut novel. So we got Everything I Ever Told You by Celeste Ng. And then this might be going out of order, but we got a book that's the start of a new series that my Bookish Besties picked. And we're going to Cheat Sheet, which I don't own, by Sarah Adams. And then we got a book from an Instagram feed scroll, and we got Bright Young Woman by Jessica Knoll. And then we got an anticipated release, which we're reading, The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. And then finally we got a book that matches the last colour of the last book you read, and that was pink because of Beg, Borrow and Steal. And we picked Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey. So it doesn't look too intensive, but oh my god, that was a really, really intense TBR, but I had so much fun. I was so excited to film my Feb TBR, to get all the books on there. I'm in such a reading mood at the minute, so I am really excited for this entire TBR. There's a mix of books in here. I feel like some like darker, more kind of like hard-hitting, thought-provoking contemporaries. There's some like fluffy, cute romances, and then there's a bit of fantasy thrown in. So I'm really, really excited for this TBR. It should be a really, really good month of reading. Hopefully it will be. I think I might have to do weekly reading vlogs to keep me accountable, because there are so many books I want to read, but hopefully I'll get through them all. Let me know in the comments down below what you're reading in February. Are you going to be focusing on romances because there's a month of romances and love? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe down below to see future content from me. I do anything from weekly reading vlogs, monthly TBRs, monthly wrap-ups, any other Bush content that you can think of. I usually have on my channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys. That was chaos. Oh my god.